All right, so today we're doing a deep dive into something a little different. It's the blog of an Australian website design company.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Website design? Not exactly the most thrilling topic.
Right.
But stick with me here, because this company, now Technology Systems, they're not just talking about building websites.
Yeah.
They're talking about building something much more valuable.
I see.
Lasting client relationship.
And that's where things get interesting.
Right.
You're hiring someone to build your online presence, essentially the face of your business.
Exactly.
So trust is absolutely essential.
Yeah.
And this company, they clearly get that. They're positioning themselves as experts in building and fostering these strong client relationships.
And their blog post, it actually lays out some pretty insightful strategies
Oh, cool.
that could apply to just about any field.
I like that.
So it's a good reminder that no matter what you do, building solid relationships is key.
You got it.
So let's dive into their first point. Understanding client needs. They emphasize something called active listening,
Active listening.
which goes way beyond, just hearing words. It's about really understanding the emotions and the motivations behind what your clients are saying.
It's about really getting to the heart of what they want and need.
Yeah, and for a web design company,
Yeah.
active listening, it's crucial.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine trying to build a website that truly reflects a client's vision without really understanding their goals,
Right.
their anxieties, maybe even their dreams for their business. That's where active listening comes in.
Yeah.
Uncovering those deeper needs.
Yes,
And building a connection that goes beyond, just the pixels in the code.
I like that. And they also point out something quite specific, actually.
Okay.
The Australian consumer law.
Interesting.
It kind of makes you wonder if they've had some, shall we say, learning experiences.
Right.
But it definitely highlights that they're really conscious of building trust.
Yeah.
Not just from a business standpoint, but from a legal and ethical one as well.
Absolutely. Transparency and integrity, they're at the core of their approach.
100%. Which actually brings us to their second key point, communication.
Okay, the bread and butter. Everyone
Really?
says communication is important.
Yeah. But what makes their take on communication stand out?
Well, they go beyond just the general advice.
Okay.
And they offer some really concrete strategies.
I like it.
For example, they talk about the power of scheduled updates.
Okay.
It's about finding that sweet spot,
Yeah.
between keeping clients informed but not overwhelming them with too much information.
Right.
Imagine receiving a monthly email that's not just a generic newsletter,
Yeah.
but it's a tailored update specifically on your project,
Yep.
highlighting the progress, addressing any potential roadblocks.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that make you feel valued as a client?
For sure.
Yeah.
It's like they're saying, we're on top of this,
Yes.
and we want you to be in the loop every step of the way.
Exactly. And they even suggest using CRM tools to personalize those
It's
communications.
very high-tech.
It's like a high-tech way of saying,
We care.
we care.
Yeah.
It's about leveraging technology to make communication more relevant and
Yeah.
meaningful to each individual client.
But technology can only take you so far right.
Right.
This company, they also stress the importance of transparency,
Yes.
going as far as to say that admitting weaknesses can actually strengthen trust.
Interesting.
Now, that's a bold statement.
It is.
Are they saying you should just air all your dirty laundry to your clients?
Well, not exactly.
Uh-huh.
It's more about being upfront about the limitations of your product or service.
So like managing expectations.
Exactly. Being honest about what you can deliver and what you can't deliver.
Okay, but wouldn't that make clients think twice about working with you?
It might seem counterintuitive,
Yeah.
but think about it from your perspective as a client.
Okay.
Wouldn't you rather work with someone who's honest and upfront about potential challenges
I guess so.
rather than someone who overpromises and underdelivers?
Yeah, that's true.
That honesty can actually be a powerful trust builder.
Okay.
It shows that you're confident enough to be vulnerable and that you're prioritizing the client's best interests.
I see what you mean. It's about building that foundation of trust from the very beginning.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And that trust is essential for any successful long-term relationship, whether it's in business or in life.
For sure. So we've talked about, understanding client needs clear communication and radical transparency. But what about going above and beyond?
Right.
Now Technology Systems, they highlight the power of adding value beyond expectations.
Okay, love that.
They use this term surprise bonuses.
Surprise bonuses.
Yeah, which, it sounds a little gimmicky.
Yeah.
But the concept is solid.
Okay.
It's about exceeding those baseline expectations and making clients feel truly valued.
I like it.
Hmm.
What are some things, off the top of your head
Yeah.
that you could do for your clients that would just blow them away?
Ooh, I love that challenge. It's about those little touches that show you're really paying attention and that you genuinely care.
Mm-hmm.
Like it could be a handwritten thank you note,
Oh, yeah.
early access to a new feature, or even a small gift personalized to their interests.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be expensive or elaborate.
Right.
It's the thought that counts.
Yeah.
And speaking of going the extra mile, they also talk about continual improvement,
Okay.
which is so crucial for any business that wants to stay ahead of the curve.
This is where that idea of a growth mindset comes in, right?
Yes.
Right.
Always striving to be better, to learn from your mistakes, and adapt to the ever-changing needs of your clients.
So it's not just about meeting needs today.
Right.
It's about anticipating and exceeding those needs in the future.
Exactly.
It's almost like you're becoming partners in success.
Absolutely. And that brings us to their next point, fostering community.
Okay.
Now, technology systems, they actually suggest hosting events and webinars
Interesting.
as a way to bring clients together and create that sense of belonging.
It's so easy to get caught up in the transactional side of things.
Yeah, especially in the digital world.
Right. But this company is reminding us that human connection is still vital,
Absolutely.
even when you're dealing with websites and online platforms.
It's about creating a space where clients can connect not just with your brand,
Yeah.
but with each other.
Okay. I like that.
Imagine attending a webinar hosted by your web design company,
Okay.
where you could learn valuable tips and tricks, but also network with other businesses
Yeah.
that are facing similar
It's
challenges.
like a win-win for everyone involved.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think this emphasis on community is specific to web design,
Mm-hmm.
or is it more of a universal principle?
I think it's applicable across the board.
Okay.
In any field where you're dealing with people creating a sense of shared purpose
Mm-hmm.
and belonging can be incredibly powerful.
So it's about fostering those connections that go beyond just, transactional relationships.
Yes,
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
we have.
Active listening, clear communication, transparency, adding value, and fostering community.
It's quite a list.
This website design company has a pretty holistic approach to client relationships.
They do.
What's the final piece of the puzzle?
Well, no matter how hard you try to anticipate client needs,
Yeah.
there's always going to be room for improvement.
That's true.
And that's why Now Technology Systems stresses the importance of seeking feedback
Okay.
for improvement. It's about constantly gathering insights from your clients
Yeah.
and using that feedback to make real changes.
It seems like a lot of companies talk about feedback,
Right?
but don't actually do anything with it. How can you make sure you're truly using feedback to improve?
Well, they suggest going beyond just surveys or formal feedback mechanisms.
Okay.
It's about being proactive, reaching out to clients directly, asking for their feedback on specific projects or interactions,
Okay.
and being open to hearing both positive and negative feedback.
So it's about creating a culture of continuous improvement,
Exactly.
where feedback isn't just something you collect, but something you actively seek out and use to make things better.
I like that.
But what about those clients who are never satisfied,
Oh, yeah.
no matter what you do?
Yeah.
How do you deal with those situations? That's a tough one.
Mhm.
You're always going to have some clients who are just really hard to please.
Yeah, and in those cases, it's super important to set clear expectations from the very beginning.
Okay.
Having open and honest conversations about what you can deliver and what you just can't deliver.
So sometimes it means saying no.
Yeah, sometimes it might even mean recognizing when a client isn't a good fit
Right.
and just politely declining the project.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
It goes back to that idea of transparency,
Yes.
even when it's tough.
It's better to be upfront than to get stuck in a situation where you're constantly trying to meet these unrealistic demands.
Exactly. And, feedback, it's a two-way street.
Absolutely.
It's not just about gathering feedback from clients.
Right.
It's also about giving them feedback.
Yeah, especially if their expectations don't align with what you can realistically provide.
So it's a dialogue.
Yes. It's about building a true partnership
Okay.
where both you and the client feel heard and respected.
And that's what's so impressive about this website design company's approach.
Right.
They've taken these seemingly simple principles,
Mm-hmm.
listening, communicating, being transparent,
Yeah.
and woven them into this really comprehensive philosophy for building strong client relationships.
It's smart.
It makes you wonder how many businesses out there
Right.
could benefit from applying these same principles,
For sure.
even if they're not in the the web design world.
Yeah, I think a lot of businesses could learn a thing or two.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to bring it back to you, the listener. We've uncovered some great insights from this website design company's blog.
Absolutely.
But the real challenge is, how do you apply these principles to your own work and relationships?
Here's something to think about. Think of a time when you had a truly successful collaboration.
Okay.
Whether it was with a client, a colleague, or even a friend. What were the key ingredients that made that relationship work?
Were you actively listening?
Yes. Were you communicating clearly and honestly?
Were you going above and beyond to add value?
Chances are those core principles we've been discussing were at play in that successful relationship.
I bet you're right.
And what's amazing about these principles is that they're not just applicable to business.
Right.
They can enrich any relationship in your life.
For sure. So as you move forward, remember that building strong relationships, it's a journey.
Yeah.
It's about being present, being authentic, and consistently trying to create those win-win situations.
Yes. Where everyone feels valued and respected.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of those small, everyday actions.
Right.
Like a handwritten thank you note, a thoughtful question.
Yeah.
Or even just a genuine effort to understand someone's perspective.
Those little gestures can make a huge difference.
That's a great point to end on.
It is.
So that's it for this deep dive into building strong client relationships.
Hope you enjoyed it.
We hope you found it insightful and inspiring.
Yeah.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep building those strong connections.